Sorry, playing around with my new light.
That's okay.
Let's see. We'll go. There we go. That's fine. Let's see. You said Chris will pop back in a second, right?
hmm he was having trouble with his internet, and
Okay.
usually his internet's pretty strong, so
Hmm.
it's not doesn't bother
Alrighty.
me.
Well, I guess we will go on ahead and start, and he will join us shortly. Excuse me, everyone. There we go. There's Chris.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back
All
like I never
right,
left.
cool. Let's go on ahead and let's get it started. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Oh, wait a minute. I normally wait a little bit. Screw it. Let's just go. They can catch up wherever they need to. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the Political Matrix. I am your host, Young Morpheus, and I'm here with my good friends and colleagues, Mr. Cy Lawson and Mr. Blue Maverick. Fellas, how are you doing? This has been a crazy week. How you doing? I guess I'll hand it off to Chris and then Emmanuel. What's up? What's going on, fellas?
Not much. We just it's a nice down here. The weather's been great. Just working as usual. Um, on the news front, it's just been kind of stale lately. I mean, it's not as if we couldn't predict everything that's going to happen. Not that we're so smart or the greatest or the best or anything, but you could just already tell the trajectory of how things are going politically. You almost don't even need to watch at this point. So it's a sad state of affairs that we could do that from our different positions in life and where we're physically located, right? We're all three on different locations, and yeah, it doesn't matter either one. We it's all the same shit. Biden sucks. The Democrats are weak. Republicans look like Republicans, and the brunch liberals are eating brunch, and I don't know what else they're doing.
What about brother Emmanuel? How we doing, fella?
Um, well, going off what Chris said there, he's right. Nothing really changed. Nothing's really. I mean, it's all really just kind of predictable. I mean the D's and R's changed, but pretty much everything is pretty much staying exactly the same. So can't really be that surprised. Um, it's kind of funny watching some of the Dems with the Biden remorse. I mean, it's a little funny.
Hmm.
It's a little funny to watch them. So
Well, and it's good that you kind of ended off with Biden. I guess we will lead into our main topics. As you see that it's titled, or I don't know if you're paying attention to the title, but I imagine if you clicked on it, you saw the title. The title is Biden bombs Syria. Or I don't know. I got to double check to see if I put that in there correctly. Hopefully I did. But whatever. Biden bombed somewhere. We know that much. We know where he bombed. I don't know if I entered it correctly. And the second topic, I titled it Cuomo Don't Know. And so we will leave that vague because Cuomo has a couple of things going on that maybe Cuomo don't know, or maybe we don't know about Cuomo. So those are the two main subjects. Of course, you know how we do it here. Any other subjects which come up that we think about, we'll start talking about and engage. So if you're into the chat, we want you guys to hop in and hey, feed the discussion. Keep it lively and interesting. Onto this Biden news. It kind of almost felt a little surreal to me. Like, really? Already? I was like, it came out of left field. Like, normally you see some little build up with the Democrats, or they try to go out in the media and say, oh, well, this country was doing this, and he's saying that, and these provocations, and he's killing these. You didn't have none of that. It was just like, boom, he did it. And so we were like, okay. And I wonder, is this what we have to look forward to? Is this going to be boom? He's just going to be doing stuff, and we're going to find out, as the newspapers or whatever media outlet is showing the smoke clouds. I mean, that's how I kind of see which is going. And it's kind of interesting. A new news site that well, it's not new, but it's new to me. But a different source that I've been following, and they are very, very close to the chest and following a lot of these step-by-step developments between the United States and other countries in foreign capacities. And what they were reporting on there, and I don't know, I might send it over to Chris so he can bring it up or not. But in this article, it's only a couple minutes long. It's kind of one of those silly computerized voices, but it is accurate to what's going on. And it said that Emmanuel Macron has told Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, that what's going on with China and all the escalations that they're seeing, they do not plan on taking part in any of it. And they're like, basically, whatever goes on with you guys, European Union is not involved in that. So it's almost, you're starting to see a little bit of a rift between, the I guess that alliance which the U.S. has had with all of its NATO allies, and I think that's something that we need to pay attention to. I guess so. That's the gist of what's going on. I will turn it over to Chris. Chris and Emmanuel, let them fill you out a little bit more details. Anything else that I missed?
Well, as we know, Biden, he ordered airstrikes into Syria to attack Iranian forces who were there fighting against ISIS. Basically, we're gonna keep it real. What's funny is the explanation they gave us was that this was in retaliation or in response to an attack in Iraq a couple weeks earlier. I don't know when that attack happened. I don't recall that ever making the news. So with that being said, Signs, what's up, man? So with that being said, though, so we had beef. We had a situation in Iraq. So we went and bombed Syria. Makes perfect sense. So again, meet the new guy, same as the old guy. You know what I'm saying? Foreign policy, it doesn't matter. Clearly, Bush, Obama, Trump, now Biden. You can see it's all the same. It matters not who occupies the Oval Office. Hey.
Yeah, it was surreal. Like I remember, 4 years. I think I remember 4 years ago when Trump dropped, what was it? He dropped the Moab, right? And all Democrats rolled over and praised him, and I was just like, when Biden did that airstrike, I was seriously surprised Hillary Clinton didn't jump on his jock about it. She was like proud of it, right? That blew my mind. I was like, well, where is she? She was, she gave Trump his props. Where's Hillary? Yeah, where's Hillary's Biden props for declaring the airstrike? So a little surprised about that, but all the K-High Biden fans came out in support of Biden's little airstrike. Oh, if you don't like bomb strikes, then you must be a pro-fascist. I'm like, okay, is that really where we're leading? Is that really where the discussion's going? Where if you have a problem with people bombing other people, you're some kind of a fascist? So we are seeing a huge uptick in Democrats making excuses for behavior that if the letter had changed, they'd be the first ones out there saying, that shit is wrong. We shouldn't do that. That's wrong. What are you doing that for? It's just political. It's just political friggin' theater, and they all got buyer's remorse. You got all the Biden voters who got buyer's remorse and saying, "Oh wow, he did the airstrikes. That's not cool. I thought when we voted, it was gonna change. It was gonna be better. Oh, guess you got played again. You got tricked again. Nothing changed. Nothing." They were like, I'm getting $2,000. That's not happening. I'm getting 15 minimum wage. That's not happening. I'm getting student debt canceled. That's not happening. He's not doing nothing for you. But he got the Raytheon money, he got them bombs out. You know,
He damn sure did.
he
And
damn.
it's funny, now that you mentioned some of the other things that they were working on. They let the Senate parliamentarian take the $15 minimum wage provision out of the relief bill, and they're blaming the Senate parliamentarian. I'll be honest, prior to this episode, I don't recall the last time I heard the word Senate parliamentarian in relation to passing of laws. So you could just see the Democrats playing games with people. Now all of a sudden they can't do this because of a Senate parliamentarian, somebody who's not elected.
Which
They're
which
trying,
is
to, they're trying to blame Bernie for it too. They're trying to blame Bernie for it, and then they're trying to hang it all on like Kamala Harris to bypass her or whatever. And I'm like, she's not doing that. That's not happening.
Well, that's the funny thing about it. It's a good point you brought up. Every single maneuver that they can find, or technicality, or bird rule, or whatever they can pull out of their ass to not actually have to do what they promised to do, they start doing it. And then on top of it, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of off topic, but kind of on topic. This is why I feel like the left, they don't even have a chance at trying to stop any of this stuff like they believe. Because you know how many people I saw tweet out, "Oh, I'll take the bait. What is a parliamentarian?" If you guys are considering yourself leftists wanting to fight the system and you don't even understand how the levers of power work within the system, how are you going to fight it? And you guys talking about, oh yeah, we can get more Justice Democrats, and they'll pair with AOC and Jamal Bowman, and it's like, come on, y'all. Come on, bro. Y'all really believe this shit?
There's no one, and the thing is, they keep sending people to the House. That's cool. You ain't flipped no legitimate Senate seat. You keep sending back Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Steny Hoyer, who else? James Clyburn. Is he a senator or is he in the House?
House.
Oh, okay, yeah. But you keep sending back the same group of people back to the Senate for 6-year terms, and you wondering why nothing happens. So the Justice Democrats and the rest of them, the Democratic Socialists, etc., they keep sending people into this burning house. Like, oh, we're gonna fix the house. The house is on fire. Okay.
Well, look at this that you mentioned. That look at the Senate flips that they did have. What was it? Kirsten Sinema, Doug Jones. I mean, basically, they're maybe 2 notches down from where that dumbass from West Virginia is.
Manchin.
Joe Manchin.
Yeah, they're 2 steps from being Joe Manchin. So is that really a game? You got D's out there, but you don't have anybody who is going to do your will or do any or that even has the spine, will, or goal to actually accomplish anything that you all want.
Look, Marcus and E, what they'll do is they'll tweet about it. Like, how many times are you seeing Cory Bush or Barbara Lee this week or AOC? They keep tweeting, oh, we need $15 an hour. We need to stop endless wars. We need to do this and that. You guys work in the building. Shouldn't you be the ones passing legislation, voting no, withholding votes? I mean, just doing whatever it is in your power to try to jam up the system. But no, they don't do that. They just go there, collect their check, talk funny on Twitter, and they go home. Like the theater, the movie's corny. Like that's why I don't even watch anymore. I don't go to the movie theater.
Sequelitis. We got sequelitis going on. That's what it is. It's the sequelitis. It's the same thing that plays out over and over again, and they're surprised, like, no, why isn't anybody in the theater? Why isn't anybody watching? I'm just like, why would anybody want to watch the same movie we saw 2 or 4 or 6 years ago? I mean, nobody really wants to do that.
And that echoes on to with all this censorship stuff. They think that they're going to do all the censorship and somehow it's going to recreate their ratings. The people they've lost, those people are lost forever. They're not coming back unless you guys change your format. It's not about, it's just all these other outlets. You can get rid of every single content creator and CNN is still going to be getting the same damn ratings on YouTube. Period. There's no new people who are like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to listen to Richard Madhurst, for instance, anymore. I need to go back to CNN. I mean, that's not happening in no reality, or any of these people who have decided that the media is complete nonsense. Sorry.
They just got to keep our parents.
Nonsense. Yeah.
They just got to keep our parents, aunties, uncles, grandparents, if they're still living. They have to keep them. But they know anybody basically under 40, for the most part, or under 45, is just looking at them super goofy. You know, sorry.
No, I was agreeing with you. I was like, they don't care. They're not listening. And then, year or two, they'll do the whole Home Alone face, like, oh, we lost everything. We lost all of it. What happened? Where did this come from? It's obviously Trump's fault. Oh.
Speaking of CNN, Cuomo was on TV.
Chris, hold on. That's the next topic. Hold on. We'll go into that. Yeah. Put the safety.
I'll put the safety back on.
Rechamber the rounds. Because we're gonna go in on that one. There's so many folds and wrinkles to that whole ordeal. So we're gonna take our time with it. We're gonna walk it down just a little bit. So we're gonna flush out this just a little bit more before we go on to that one. And then there's a couple other topics that are rolling around in the back of my head that I feel, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and make this declaration early and say this. You heard it here first. If nobody else has said it, they are going to have a massive amount of losses in the midterm. The Democrats are going to get their ass curb stomped when midterm comes.
That's preferable to them, though. Like, there's no way you could tell me that they don't want that to happen. They don't want to govern. Again, you have ways to get things done in the Senate, and you just told us the Senate parliamentarian stopped you from doing something. They don't want to govern and legislate. I mean, they would like to have the White House, but that's it.
Democrats got millions and millions of reasons not to do anything, and none of them are people. So,
that's a good one.
Millions of reasons not to do anything, and none of them.
That's the bar.
None of them are the voters. Okay, none of them are the voters.
Hey, he keeps spitting bars like that. I'm about to change his name to Dylon.
I spit hot fire like
that. I spit that hot fire. Dylon. 5 greatest rappers of all time. Dylon.
Yo, Chappelle killed that, man. Chappelle killed that whole skit. I remember that whole skit.
That's amazing.
Remember when Dylon wouldn't show up and Chappelle had to play him? He killed it, knocked it out.
Yeah, he did. Yo, that was some funny shit. Yo, that the whole Chappelle, he did his thing, man. Oh, yeah, that's funny though. Y'all have me there.
I mean,
but yeah, like you said, they get paid not to do anything. It's just like how they pay the athletes not to speak out, right? You don't get paid millions of dollars.
I thought you were about to break. I thought you were about to go into another taboo, which in our world, talking about sports taboos is not a big thing. But I thought you were about talking about how they pay off athletes to not do certain things on certain plays so certain teams can win.
That too.
I mean,
that too.
I watched this video the other day. I was like, this can't be real, what I was seeing. Dude came around. Running back has the ball in hand. He's cutting through the hole. He comes right before the defender is about to tackle him. And he does this. And what happens is he ducks. The defender goes right over him. I was like, what the heck? I was like, man, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing that wrong. Maybe they clipped that the wrong way. Then I know you can rewind. Where he pointed down and he jumped over him. I was like, oh, hell no. Hell no. They ass is cheating. The
refs too. You already know the refs. 1 minute the refs have an eagle eye, and then the next minute they deaf, dumb, and blind. Like,
oh yeah.
It's ridiculous.
like I used to get into arguments in sports all the time because I was one of those sneaky players. I would try to get away with whatever little cheats I could within the game. Like, and when I played in the secondary, you better believe I had a nice handful of the corner of your jersey. You better believe it. This is because I'm just stay close with you as much as I can to try to hide it from the ref. And I'll watch a ref let me get away with that for 3 quarters straight. The one time when it hits the fourth quarter and this team is about to lose, all of a sudden, I can't even breathe on the dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Pass interference, holding.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've sat there and watched plays where a team will just be blowing the other team out. I mean, not blowing them out, but they're beating on them, and it's not looking good for them. Basically, maybe 3 penalties the whole entire game. And in the fourth quarter, you see like 17 penalties on one team. It's like, what? You know,
it's even like
sorry for everybody for us going so outside off track. But, you know, it's
well, hold on. Since we're on sports, you guys watch soccer?
Hmm?
Do you guys watch soccer at all?
I don't.
But that guy,
Natalia.
that guy, I don't know his name, Ibrahimovic or something like that. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But he said something like, yo, when we're like at the pinnacle of our sport and we're doing our thing, we shouldn't really be talking about politics. So he basically told LeBron, like, you great, shut up and dribble.
Oh, so an athlete did the shut up and dribble. So he did the Laura Ingraham on it.
Yeah. So LeBron came back at him and, he said a couple of things like, as he kept it real PC, like, nah, where we come from, we can't afford to stay quiet, blah, 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 the usual. But I just thought that was kind of funny for a dude in Sweden to be telling Black American players to shut up and play.
See, this is why I wish I could catch people to come at me like this. Like, I kind of enjoy it. Like, if you guys didn't catch it on my what I've been thinking channel, I got a what would we call him, a troll, I guess. And he came in or whatever, spouting some racist nonsense. In all honesty,
look, Marcus is popular. That's all.
I don't mind it. I really don't because.
Yo, E, did you watch the video though? E, did you watch the video where Marcus getting pissed? Yo.
Oh, there's video. Oh God, what? Oh wow. Okay, there's video.
No.
Oh, okay.
Marcus went from like.
I didn't actually illustrate video of it. Okay.
Yo, E, Marcus went from like, oh yeah, talking, blah blah blah. Homeboy, Marcus, you just see him go like this, reading the comments. He said, "Oh, you think you got smoke? Okay, you all gonna die."
Woo. I heard about it, but I didn't see it. I was just like, man, you got Marcus, man.
Yo, I was watching that video. I was like laying across the end of my bed watching the video. Yo, that shit was funny. I was like, oh shit. Like I'm looking at the phone like, yo, he mad. He's mad.
Man, that dude don't want it. And the thing about it is, I held back.
Yeah, you did.
Well, see, the audience members, you guys don't. You guys aren't privy to some of the conversations I have with Chris and Emmanuel. Emmanuel hasn't really seen me get too upset too much, but Chris is definitely heard.
I heard when I heard about you brought it up the other day, and I was just like, Marcus, man, I've never seen that before. That's such a weird thing.
Nah, he almost got the business. Marcus, Marcus was.
He didn't want to get on.
Man,
Marcus didn't want to get on.
Look, man, Marcus was like, yo, matter of fact, yo, E, you know how remember did you saw White Man Can't Jump? Okay. So you remember the part in the park when the guy got hustled and he said, you know what? I'm gonna go to my car. I'm gonna get my gun. I'm gonna shoot everybody. Marcus was like, come on the show. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Come on in. And then homie was like, oh, I got a career. I'm not gonna do that, But that shit was hilarious.
I even told him. I said, hide your face. We don't even need your face on here. Just put your voice on here and say that shit to me directly. Don't type, don't keyboard bang, bitch. Say that shit to my face. Because what y'all don't know is I come across kind of mild mannered and stuff, but I grew up in the hood. I mean, by the time I was about 10, 11 years old, I literally could tell you what type of gun it was by the different gunshots I used to hear. Because that was what we went to bed to every night. And where I grew up, when you said stuff to people, they reached out and touched you, and I don't mean a phone call. And so where I'm from, if you got the nerve to say something, you better be ready to deal with them consequences. And
Mhm.
so, as you want to call it, the fisticuffs or whatever, in my
Or
hood,
kerfuffle.
yeah, you say something, you better be ready to back it up. And
No,
my
that
thing
was
is, no,
E,
don't
if you get
don't
the
don't
chance,
don't yeah.
and
I'm
E, if you get
definitely
the chance, it's only like 14. It's only like 14, 15 minutes. Marcus was talking probably like the last 4 or 5 minutes of it, because the guy he said something real stupid like, aren't you embarrassed or ashamed to be black? Like, don't you feel like trash? The typical stuff that we've always heard. Oh,
right.
nothing that really it don't hit you, but it's like it's one of those things. Like he said, like if you're gonna say that, like don't throw rocks and hide your hand. Stand up and be a
Mhm.
man. Say what you said. Come on here and defend yourself. I mean,
And,
what we can't reach out through the computer and touch you, right? So don't be scared. Like
I mean,
just
you
come
know
catch
what?
some
And
digital
put it like
smoke.
this: me a couple of years ago would have been like, "Yo, you already know I'm in Cali. Here's a park right over here. I
Right.
can
I'll tell you
show
where I am.
whenever
Give
you
you
want."
GPS. All of it. We can come down. We can talk.
Exactly. But yeah, that was
Mhm.
funny. So I suggest to the audience, if you watch Marcus's what we've been thinking channel from last week's Sunday, that would be the 22nd, I believe. So yeah, it's pretty funny. Kelly, what's going on?
Hey, Kelly's
Um,
in the
By the way,
room.
what's up,
I see
Sign? I'm
Thomas in the
sorry to say
room
something
too.
earlier. You said, and
And
what's
of course, our good friends Signs and Variant that I saw that they were in there. So I want to make sure to acknowledge everybody that we
right?
see you all there. But also another reason why I had to like calm it back a little bit because I don't know this guy well enough, so I got to put all the comments basically on the whole white race, and I don't really feel comfortable just trashing on the whole entire race of people.
yeah,
Now,
we don't want to do that. Mm-mm.
now,
We
now with that disclaimer put in, white people, at least 50% of y'all race, they're unexcusable, and yeah, granted, there are 50% of y'all who are wonderful, who are great, beautiful creatures. Who, I mean, I look at my aunt. I had a white aunt growing up who was the one who was at every one of my performances, whether it was sports, whether she was coming to my musicals, whether it was acting that I was in, she came to everything. And if even when my mom couldn't make it to stuff, she was there. She got disowned by her family because she married a black man and her family didn't talk to her for like 20 years. And so I don't hate all white people, not at all. But I'll tell you this, 50% of you, 50% of y'all, I do hate you. 50% of y'all, I got a lot of hate for you. 50% of you, I got a lot of hate for because another thing is under my belief system, I believe in regeneration. So some of these people walking around here were literally the slave masters of my people. And so, I believe the Bible says you try the spirit. So if you come in a more if you're in a hospitable spirit and you're like, hey, I know what happened, that was jacked up, this and that, and you're able to come in that spirit, that's cool. We can deal on that. But if you're gonna be like, well, everybody enslaves everybody, say, oh yeah, then we got a problem. Because you got to own up to what the hell you've done. If you can't own up, then we can't move forward. Period. And that's in this world, and that's even biblical. It even says that people are going to have to come to know who the real children of God are, and the people who are lying about being the children of God, they're going to have to admit it also that they're lying and come to the real children of God. That's a whole other discussion that I'll talk about on Hebrew apologetics. But all of these things are all interconnected on the way all these things work. I guess with that said, why don't we slide on to our next topic? Chris, why don't you lead us in on that one? On
Where we going to your? Where we going
it's
to your
as we
boys
titled
on?
it, Cuomo don't know. Cuomo
Say
don't
it again. We're
know.
going. We going at Cuomo now.
Yeah, let's go on ahead to Cuomo don't know, especially
Come
with you
on.
being our resident New Yorker, right? New Yorker. You going ahead and you lay it down to us and let us know, what's going on in the big rotten apple.
Well, the Cuomo brothers. You got Chris and Andrew, whatever his name is. um, the governor is in a little bit of trouble because obviously it's come out that his handling of coronavirus patients in New York all throughout last year was just it was a horrible thing. But we knew that from the start. So again, it's not to people who have been paying attention to this closely. You're not surprised by it at all. What's funny is now there's a second woman now who has come out to accuse the governor of sexual harassment. I don't think anyone screamed rape yet, but definitely sexual harassment. Again, you could just look at him and his brother. Their father was the governor for many years. You
And
can
he was
just
corrupt
tell
too. He was
they
corrupt.
got that. They fully entitled pricks. You know what I'm saying? You could just look at Chris and the way he acts. I mean, again, I'm from New York. I've seen those guys before. Them tough, them wannabe tough guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just a wannabe tough dude. Because the moment somebody touch you or approach you, you'll get on the phone and call daddy or you'll call a cop. So your
Oh,
tough
just
guy
like
act is not all
like
that.
when sorry to interrupt you, but it
No, you
reminded
sure?
me of when the other Cuomo, I can't remember his first name right now,
Mario.
but let's just call him. No, well, that's the father, right? Yeah, that's the father. Oh no, I'm talking about the brother.
Oh, Chris.
Chris or Fredo Cuomo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fredo. And that's the thing. Oh, I wish I could meet that dude. I would straight up address him as Fredo too. And then the difference is, if he buck up to me like what's going on with that dude, it's not going to be a whole lot of yelling and talking. The moment he starts coming across and trying to snatch away, I'm a cold cocking. And it's not going to be 1-2. I'm giving you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-piece combo. And so, yeah.
Left hooks and right hooks and body slams.
Or as I used to tell people, I'm going to give him a 2-piece and a biscuit.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Y'all know about
Exactly.
that? Let me teach you that. That's that 2-piece and a biscuit right there for you.
Correct. Night.
So
Go to sleep.
sometimes you got to give them a little food for the stomach so they can go ahead and sleep nice and easy.
But I'm noticing that CNN was going hard on Ted Cruz, this week, for whatever he did last week when he left and went to Cancun and came back. It was like kill Ted Cruz. And again, I don't have a dog in the fight, so I don't care if you guys are killing Ted Cruz. But again, you have now a governor compared to a senator. As far as I'm concerned, the governor has far more responsibilities,
especially within the state.
Correct. So you guys, they refuse to really cover this the way they did with all things Trump and or other Republican governors. So you could just see like the right wing has been complaining about CNN, NBC for years. Everyone just kind of like, oh, they're Fox News viewers or they're conservatives or they're Republicans, so we don't need to listen to them. But you know what? They were right about a lot of shit when it came to their criticism of the media. You don't have to agree with everything with all of their ideology to acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? You can still say, I disagree with you on everything else, but on this point, you're right. When Trump screaming fake news, he was right.
Yeah. Well, I honestly feel like that's why they're kind of more in the trouble that they're in right now. Because now they're trying to make the media, oh, no. It was just under the Trump era. The fake news, that stuff is that's don't even think about that. Go ahead, Emmanuel. I saw you about to say something.
No, I was going to say, you see them trying to make the connection between Cuomo and Trump, right? You see the media definitely trying to make that connection. I'm like, when you think when you think of another powerful official that has the majority of control over somebody, and you think sexual harassment, or you think, oh, he harassed a couple of people, who do you think of? You don't think of Trump. You think of the dude who succeeded him. So we're seeing clear media manipulation and control of the narrative in that way, because the Democrats don't want that mess. So, but everybody's getting mad. Everybody's getting mad at Cuomo or whatever, and I was just like, if they're not going to go after Biden, they're not going to go after Cuomo. If one goes down, the other one's going. Let's put it like if one.
We should start a fundraiser for the Me Too movement, because it seems as if like they can't afford their internet bills, because I don't see them saying shit about it. So I'm assuming maybe their internet got cut off. So we should start a GoFundMe so we could get their internet back on, so they can tweet about this stuff, because I ain't seen or heard sugar honey iced tea from these people. Nothing.
I mean,
it's
almost like they didn't get. It's almost like they didn't get that memo or that news update. Or I don't know. Maybe they had a temporary coma for like a week or so and just kind of like missing or something. I mean, I don't know. I do happen to notice that it seems to be very interesting and very selective who they decide to go after.
Well, we
brought that up.
Wow. Whoa, let's read this comment from Signs real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you, fellas. But
no, you're good.
It said, well, Obama, I love that name. Nice one, Signs. Recently said, when Joe takes office, you won't even need to watch the news. You won't even need to watch the news anymore. Does that, you see what they're trying to do, right? You see what they're trying to do. Go back to sleep.
Look, if you pair that with Mark Zuckerberg coming out a few weeks ago, what did he say? He's going to start removing the political stuff from people's feeds on Facebook. So again, they told you, they got you hyper worked up with Trump. Everything Trump sneezes and it's like, oh my God, he didn't cover his mouth. Oh, he left pee on the toilet seat. He's horrible, right? And yeah, now here we go. We have another president, and they're like, "Nah, you don't need to watch what he's doing. He'll be all right. You can go back to brunch. Put your head back in the sand. We got this." But again, thinking people, we're not falling for that.
Well, I mean, did you hear that whole interview from Tulsi Gabbard, what she said about when she was describing Congress?
Oh no.
What Tulsi Gabbard said is Congress, in all honesty, is like being around a bunch of high school and college people who never got past that. They are all still living in that mentality. They're all still petty. They're juvenile. It
seems that way.
They hold a lot of petty ass grudges. Like they'll be like, "Oh, really? I can't get this position? Okay, cool. So when it comes up for this vote that you want to get done, just because your name's on it, even though it's to say minimum wage, I don't care. I'm gonna kill it because your name's on it." And they're so disconnected to some of these bills. Sometimes the indication of if a bill is gonna get passed is who is writing the bill and how they get along. I mean, that's the issue that Bernie had for the longest. They could not stand Bernie. So in order for him to get anything passed, he had to go basically ghostwrite it and go put somebody else's name on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like,
that's how it is.
Pass. But his name is on it. That's Bernie. He's a backbencher. Ignore him.
It's it's like that. Y'all
go ahead and read it. Every time Thomas says, every time I hear sexual harassment or harassment, as people like to say, allegations on politicians, it doesn't surprise me. Many are entitled pricks, just like Chris said. Cuomo acts like a mob boss. He probably expects women in favor of promises. I honestly, yeah, that's a good tie. He's more like a consigliere, He's kind of not the boss, but he's kind of that dude that's sitting in the boss's spot and making all of these big, promises on the boss's dime. And it's kind of the situation as a governor. He's oh, I can do this. This is going to happen. And, oh, I'll get this done. But you need federal funding for this, so you can't promise that. You don't know what's going on in this area, so you can't say that that's going to be situated. And you're just talking out of your ass on a lot of shit. And that's what That's what like some of those lower level made men would do. That's right. We got to come up with a good name for the or else we can just call them the Frodo brothers. Or Fredo.
Yeah.
What was it? Fredo. Because I know that Chris hates that name. We can just call them the Fredo family. Even when we're talking about Mario or Mario, as they say it. Calling a damn man Mary. Come on, damn Mary. And you're Italian. You should know phonetically it's Mario. No, Mary. But anyway.
Well, it
Oh.
again, it just. Oh, Kelly says it seems like you need to be a bully to be a politician. If Joe had stuck his fingers inside of me uninvited, I would have torn his third leg off. Hey, you see, that's the kind of energy that they need.
Gotta make sure it's invited.
So Kelly, you travel with tweezers all the time?
Nah, Kelly, the way she sounds, I would not be surprised. She'd be like, "Oh, okay, you think I'm playing?"
Yo, E, you caught that, right, E?
She gonna like pull him through a fence and like just rip it up.
Yes, I did.
She's gonna decapitate it by chain link fence.
Yeah, see, TV Fredo, Governor Fredo, same thing,
Oh yeah.
And they're not gonna allow him to go down. They're gonna force him to land the plane nice and easy. Kelly had made a comment about Trump when she said, "There we go."
That's the one I was looking for. There it is.
Yeah, she said the mainstream media can't stop talking about Trump. Today was all about him getting revenge in 2024. They're doing everything they can to avoid talking about Joe's lies. In addition to that, I would also say, again, they just don't want any discussion, reflection, analysis on the fucking election. I'm telling you, that's really what it is. And the way that they covered Trump from 2015 to time, matter of fact, when he started with the birther stuff on O'Reilly, they have been covering this dude hard for like
that was 2015.
9 years, 8-9 years at least, or maybe 7 to 8 years at least. Now it's silenced. Signs asked, is Twitter going broke without Trump and his 80 million followers?
Did you hear that thing that they were trying to do?
Signs. I would just go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, if you think about Twitter, trying to do like super follows or something like that, you to follow or something, where they pay for people to follow them or something like that. No, they must be really for cash to promote something like who's honestly going to pay to follow? Who's honestly going to pay to follow somebody? Yeah, it's just let's see. Thomas said Congress is like a high school. They are childish and seeking approval from their followers. Another time, Tulsi said Congress pimps themselves out the donor. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of them are pretty much, straight up entitled to Hillary. Hillary Clinton spoke out against her. Man, they still alienate her. They alienated her so quick. All of them got a long, old ass memory. They remember shit 10, 20, 15, 30 years ago. They remember what you've done, and they screw over millions just to get one over on you, just because you couldn't get it. I screwed you because you couldn't get it. So that's really all that is, and Cuomo is just problematic. Cuomo's is Fredo. Fredo is this Governor Fredo is problematic across the board, right? It is a crime. People were screaming foul on him. What a couple of months would have been last year when it started. You got Ron. You got Lindsay screaming foul, and then all of a sudden, Trump dies down, and all of a sudden, it starts to build up about Cuomo. So, I mean, But yeah, they're just trying to crush any real discussion, conversation about it. But I'm just like, you kept poking the bear for like 9 years. You kept saying, Trump did this, Trump did that. Now Biden screwed up. Biden can't get nothing done. What do you think people are going to do? There's no more Trump, right? There's not Trump's not the person you need to worry about anymore. So
Well, another thing with the Trump thing is you got to look at what's happening with their ratings. Their ratings are tanking. And so the only thing that was keeping their ratings going over this, what gets maybe it's about a 7 year stretch, is been, it's been Trump. Trump, even though they said they hate Trump, Trump has kept their pockets fat. And so since he's out of the spotlight, they thought that, oh, well, people are going to love this new Biden administration. And what they're seeing is no, nobody nobody cares what Biden is talking about. They're like, these are the stale ass politicians that are going to give a half ass effort and not get anything done. And these people felt like, oh, well, after Trump's gone, we'll have a sensible discussions and all that. And it's like, no, you guys were on a sugar high, covering Trump. That's the only reason why people were tuning in. But now that he's gone, people are like, yeah, whatever, screw this shit. It's like watching a wannabe lively C-SPAN.
Yeah, now you already know Rachel Maddow. She irks my nerves big time. She's no longer concerned about kids in cages or any of the other things that occurred under the Trump administration, which are still occurring under the Biden administration. None of those things seem to be pulling at her heartstrings anymore. So she's not on TV fake crying like the rest, like she did, under Trump. That clip was floating on the internet this week. I don't know if you guys saw it, with Rachel Maddow crying about the kids. I mean, these guys, they're such bad actors. No wonder they say politics is like Hollywood for ugly people. Like, it makes sense. Even she's like, get the kid.
What are they calling out now? Drink containment. Now it's a migrant containment facility, and everybody. It's amazing how much it shifted from concentration camps to migrant containment facility. It's very humane. We're helping them out. And, I can't remember how it started, but everybody was like, why don't you just, shut it down since it was bad under Trump? And then they were like, well, if we shut it down, where are they going to go? And I think said, well, where do Americans without parents go? Foster care, right? So.
But America, think about this. They still didn't even shut down Gitmo.
He promised that. He did. That's another lie by lying by. The media can't hate fuck Trump anymore. They just have to. They're just running smoke for Biden. It's pathetic. I mean, same old. It's the same old. So.
Well, something I wanted to add in, Chris, to what you were saying is when you start bringing up Rachel Maddow, I don't know if you heard about it, but actually Soledad O'Brien called out Rachel Maddow for the whole Russiagate and stuff. Now, I'm not a big fan of Soledad O'Brien, but
me neither.
You call her out.
Me neither.
A broken clock is twice as right.
That part, Emmanuel. Broken clock right twice a day.
And she's like, yeah, you guys have contributed to this disinformation. You guys want to talk about, well, you got the My Pillow guy spreading dubious information. Well, did you not have Jonathan Chait during the whole Trump administration up there saying, well, Trump was an agent by the KGB since 1987? You have no proof for any of that. You're just pulling it out of your ass. How is that any different than what you say about right wingers? And what's happened is they say, you know what? On the right, that's crazy. But our side, we're trusted, so we can come up with our theories. I saw Kelly had a really good comment. I'm bring that back up. Oh, it was talking about Queen Corilla DeVille herself, or the Indian Corilla DeVille.
Oh, oh God. you know, that chick is near attendance, just like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? She's like used toilet paper, just
Yeah,
useless.
but
You know what
look
I'm
at this
saying?
comment.
No,
I
that
got.
no, that
I don't know.
one fly you get from dollar. That's just you buy it like it's no good, but spread.
Dude,
Exactly. Like
she's
she
one
and they're going
fly.
hard to get her in. They going hard, like they really like she's really great. You gotta put her in. Come on. Why don't you like her?
They went from OMB. They went from OMB anywhere. Like let's anywhere. I was just like that's straight desperation right there. I was like if they're OMB to like we just need to put her like anywhere. Just like that's not going. Just like that's just not because she history. People don't like her. People don't like her. She's trustworthy. She's untrustworthy across the board near 10. Untrustworthy. And just the fact that it was just going to say what Emmanuel was saying. Kelly said they are now migrant facilities with some soccer parks. I mean, just Biden will probably do a tour walkthrough of like bags and bean bags and PS5s and all that other stuff, and like with bars on the wall, with bars on the window saying, like, look at how nice they have it. Look at how pristine it is. Go anywhere. They can't leave. But look. They got it though. Million. Science says millionaires, shillionaires, 4 billionaires. MSN anchor people without opinion.
So look, they passed that LGBTQ bill earlier this week in the House. I started to read through it, but then I was just like, whatever. But again, the focus that this administration has on that community is a little weird to me. Again, what
Yeah,
I'm asking a legitimate question. What rights don't they have that they need to be legislated? And I'm talking about people who call themselves homosexual, gay, whatever they want to call themselves. Oh, use toilet paper. I see you, Kelly. But no, quite honestly though, what did they what did what rights does that community need legislated that they don't already have? The big thing during the Obama era was that they couldn't get married, so access to hospital, end of life decisions, insurance, etc., etc. So that was taken care of, right?
even extended to hormone pills in the military.
Yes. So again, they made this big thing of people like need money, right? From the from the Crown Royale shutdowns, right? So you passed the law, which they said they're getting civil rights protections. And I'm just saying, do you want equality or do you want to be a special status? Which one is it do you want? Because on Monday they say like, oh, we want equal rights, and then Tuesday it's like, no, we want to be treated special. I mean, which one is it? It cannot be both.
It's kind of like when you get that person who's in a wheelchair and they want to give you a hard time. They're like, treat me equally, and I'm like, okay, can you help us? What? I'm handicapped, man. What? And you're like, and it's kind of like in the dating world where you get those women. They're like, oh, we're equals. Don't you be opening up doors for me? And you got the other ones like, damn, you're rude. You're not gonna open the door for me.
Exactly.
I mean,
Chivalry is dead and women killed it. Chappelle. That's what you mean.
mhm. Oh, I decided to go ahead and bring this.
It's so true. And
A year
you know
ago,
what?
Kyle Kalinske and Kim Iverson averaged 250,000 views per video, while CNN averaged 10,000 views. Now with the YouTube algorithm, CNN is averaging 500,000 views, while Kyle and Kim get 50,000 average, and that's true. But part of Kyle's decline, I feel, is you want to hit yourself to the AOCs and all that. You are going to watch your follower base drop when you want to sit there and defend them when they don't want to fight, and you want to side with the boutique left, then you are going to lose some of those. So yes, the algorithm is doing some of it, but on Kyle's behalf, I believe that some of his holding back from pushing on certain issues has lost him some also. Because I used to listen to Kyle religiously, and I don't anymore. I look at Kyle's like, yeah, whatever. So, and I know a bunch of people like that. Are like, nah, he's backing all the Justice Dems. He's just team Democrat. He's just like Jank with a kind of lefty streak. And so I'm like, nah, I don't need that. We really need real fighters. And then, but Kim, they have been railroading the hell out of her. Anybody who's talking a third party, primarily point of view, yeah, they get marginalized like crazy because she's getting it from both sides, the Democrats and the Republicans. So, and then it helps that many of us are moving over to Rockfin. Yes, we are still in the process of doing that, but it is an application process and it takes a little time to hear back from them. So hopefully we hear back from them, sometime soon and we're able to switch over so we don't have to tiptoe nearly as much. But, we'll make do as we can. You're going to say something, Chris?
No, you know what's funny is if you're watching any kind of video on YouTube, like it could be music video or it's just some kind of program about anything. What I'm noticing even on my own feed is that once that video ends, it's putting me to like CNN, CBS, NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been playing, I'll cast it to my television. So I'll wash dishes or be cleaning up, whatever. I'm watching whatever I was watching. And then after that, next thing you know, it's like I'm hearing people from NBC, people I know I don't listen to. So my ear immediately is like, huh? So I run over there and I, grab the phone and I go to change it. But I've noticed over the past couple of weeks, that's been a constant thing where
Make
whatever
sure
I'm
you
watching
give
right
a
now,
thumbs
they
down.
come on.
Make sure you thumbs down any of those videos that come
All
up.
the time.
I thumbs down every single one of those.
I give them feedback. I tell them, like, I thought you guys were against fake news. Stop giving me CNN, CBS, NBC, or stop giving me the fake news. I tell them that all the time.
But Thomas is right. There you are definitely seeing a huge ramp up of like a bunch of people calling out squad or neolibs or anybody back and biting. You are seeing like they are being, you are seeing their streams and their voices and their social media just being throttled or just flat out suppressed. Thomas is correct. I was just saying,
see, he just said it.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I said that's that bullshit right there.
Mm-hmm. That's why that's getting hundreds of thousands of views. I was like, that right there. I didn't even know that. I guess it's because I haven't been using YouTube all that. Been trying to find alternate ways to look at my media or my media or whatever. And seen it, but thought the commercials were bad enough. But oh no, it did.
I use a bunch of stuff. I go to people's websites or like BitChute. I use that. Navigating on BitChute's a little different. It's not as convenient as it is on YouTube, but they do have a lot of stuff on there. Of course, there's a lot of right-wing content that you have to filter through. Maybe you'll watch some of it, maybe not. But again, at the very least, you have a range of opinions, and it's not forcing you to watch MSNBC or Fox or CNBC right after you watch a video. Like you could be watching a video about World War I or something like that, and then like they said, they come right back to it. And it's like, I don't click on those channels. I don't subscribe to them. Why is that automatically being fed to me? I mean, I know why, but I just feel like 90% of the people it's happening to, they don't understand it.
Well, let me take it a step further. With me, I've literally went in, like for instance, I don't hate the Daily Show. I didn't hate the Daily Show. I literally had to go in and block it because it was putting the Daily Show after every single video. Even when I said I'm not subscribed to it, I don't want notifications from it, I don't want to hear from it. I did that to MSNBC, and it finally stuck. But I still get Fox popping up. I still get CNN popping up. And I literally have went in and said, no, I don't want anything from this content. Hide these channels from my thread completely. I don't want to see any of it but they still send it to me. Oh, sorry. I thought you were about to say something, Chris.
No, you good.
All right.
You guys still there?
And let's see. This comment which Kelly said, let's go ahead and pop this one back up. We're going down a dangerous road with trans people choosing what sport they want to play in. And people can get mad all they want. I put it this way. Some high schools, believe it or not, actually have boxing in the schools. Now, imagine your 16-year-old daughter boxing and having to fight up somebody who is biologically no different than any normal man. The testosterone and all that, because even if you start taking those hormone pills, it takes a long while to reduce the amount of testosterone, and then even past that, because you've had testosterone in your system all those years, it's allowed you to build a stronger muscular frame. Another thing on top of it, which people don't think about, is the bones of men and women are different. Men's bones are denser than women's bones. That is an actual fact. So if you think, oh, well, there's no difference, there are differences between the two sexes. Now, I know we live in the world which says that believe science, except for when it comes to genders. You know, everything. I heard somebody the other day literally try to tell me that everything in the world was actually naturally non-binary. No, you moron. That doesn't, just because that makes you feel good to say that, that is not true. Even most of the plants, there's like maybe like 1 or 2% of plants which are non-binary. There's only a handful. There's like 3% of animals in the whole animal kingdom that flip genders or whatever, that are non-binary. So you're not going to sit there and try to convince the whole world that everything is non-binary. So whatever I decide I want to be, I can just be, and whatever. Forget science. See, for these people who say, "Oh, well, don't judge me, whatever I identify myself as," I can't identify myself as a fucking kangaroo. So you can't just decide what the hell you are either. Okay?
Look, have you guys seen at all Dr. Rachel Levine, Biden's health person that they're trying to get nominated? Did you guys see any of that exchange with Rand Paul?
Just by the name, I already know I don't like her.
Well, her name is Rachel Levine. It's a man. If clearly you see the person, it's a man.
I don't even know who she is. She just sounds like an asshole.
But you know, Rand Paul asked her a very direct question, and they were coming down on Rand Paul saying he was being like a turf or whatever. I don't even know what that means. I just see it all the time.
What does that mean?
What
the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
What is it? Trans exclusionary or something like that? I don't know. But it seems as if any time you question this movement, they come after you hard. Rand Paul asked the question basically saying, like, do you think that kids should be allowed to undergo hormone therapy, behind their parents' back? And she wouldn't answer the question. She just, I look forward to working with you, blah, 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 blah. And it was just very weird. Matter of fact, I'm going to play it for y'all real quick because it's only like a minute. Let me just show you guys. Like, it's kind of wild. Let me just show you guys. Give me a second. Here it is.
For most of it, this audition, let it go into the record that the witness refused to answer the question. The question is a very specific one. Most of the history of medicine, we wouldn't let you have a cut sewn up in the ER, but you're willing to let a minor take things that prevent their puberty, and you think they get that back? You give a woman testosterone enough that she grows a beard, do you think she's going to go back looking like a woman when you stop the testosterone? You have permanently changed them. Infertility is another problem. None of these drugs have been approved for this. They're all being used off-label. I find it ironic that the left that went nuts over hydroxychloroquine being used possibly for COVID are not alarmed that these hormones are being used off-label. There's no long-term studies. We don't know what happens to them. We do know that there are dozens and dozens of people who've been through this who regret that this happened and a permanent change happened to them. And, you know, if you've ever been around children, 14-year-olds can't make this decision. In the gender dysphoria clinic in England, 10% of the kids are between the ages of 3 and 10. We should be outraged that someone's talking to a 3-year-old about changing their sex. I can't vote for you if you can't
Thank
make
you
a
so
decision.
much, Senator Paul. Senator Levine, thank you for answering the question. I will turn to Senator Baldwin.
And that was that. So that was just Rand Paul, you know, going. Let me find the other one where she had a response. If you guys see that one, you'll just be like, and again, it's not to beat up on anybody. You know, you whatever you want to do in your personal life, go ahead, do it. My issue is when you're trying to force me and others to have to behave a certain way towards you. That's the thing I don't like. Personally, do your thing. We shouldn't even be like talking to kids, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds about this stuff. Why are we talking to them about their sexuality at that stage? I mean, why? Much less talking to them about sex, but now we're talking to them about changing themselves or taking some kind of medication for them to block the puberty. Yo, there's something not right about that. I'm sorry. Someone has to be telling these kids to do this, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like, go ahead, E.
No, I was going to say, ultimately, everyone is entitled to their opinion. I hope we can arrive at a world where we can do like where we don't actually have to ask the kid anything. We can actually, you know, have scientific proof that we did like a conclusive brain scan, and you know, Thomas says didn't. Yeah, it's a terrible beating. Got her face crushed and should have never been allowed. That's what I aspire to see. Like, if a kid brings it up of their own free will, and then there's like conclusive scientific evidence that their gender should be changed, and we should do that. There should be like a league. I would love to start like a league where trans people can fight other trans people, and then they don't have to be around cis. They don't have to have the controversy of cis people. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm not trans. None of us are trans. At some point, you know, we have these opinions, but we don't really ask like how like an actual trans person feels about it, or get their perspective with any. And I agree with Thomas too. Like if we're going to start doing it, then we should just start like a separate league, and maybe we can work it out. But my honest take is just that none of us are trans.
Well,
So,
the other thing, sorry, E, I just wanted to say too, because I saw some discussions online that kind of frustrated me a little bit about this topic. They were like, well, you know, it's kind of like black people. Hold on, I had to pause a couple people like, chill. It's not the same, B. You know what I mean? When we came out of our mothers, we didn't ask like, yo, so now make me that other shade. You understand? We didn't have that choice. They are making a choice, whether it's based on
like we had a color chart where we'd be like, oh, I'll be medium black.
You know, we didn't have a choice, right? So comparing, and there's no agenda against those people. There's no programs. There's no redlining. There's no telling them they can't be anywhere, can't do anything. Again, have they had it the easiest? Of course not. But again, we have to keep it real. When we see some of this violence, are you pretending to be something you're not, and then having somebody believe something else? When that realization comes from the other person, unfortunately, it is going to provoke a violent reaction. If we're talking about a man if he thinks he's talking to a woman and finds out it's a man, he's going to react in a less than positive way. So on some of those cases, you have to take personal responsibility for whatever happens to you. Just like we would have to take personal responsibility if we go outside saying certain things to certain people, act in certain ways, right? So I just think we gotta be very careful about this topic. And I'm not trying to offend people, but at the end of the day, like, I don't think you should receive special rights because of a choice you've made. Go ahead, E.
No, I was going to say, did you see Simon's comment about how Jill Biden was supposed to get that job? Oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
No, I didn't know that either. That's kind of crazy.
All right. Was talking about it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So
I actually remember that on The View. I remember because everybody started making a big deal about the whole Dr. Jill Biden stuff. That was during that whole interview.
Ah, okay.
okay. No, yeah, I was like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it just, like I said, man, it's a very sensitive topic. I know it sets people off one way or the other, but I just don't want to be. I just don't think it's cool. Even since people are mentioning sports in the comments, I don't think it's right that a 14-year-old boy who then wants to transition into a female should be allowed to play sports with girls. I just don't think that's not fair to the girls. It's really that simple. If you're going to do that at that stage, part of that sacrifice is going to have to be sports, unless they do, as like Thomas and others have said, start a league or play co-ed. I think that should be the answer. But allowing boys to play with girls, especially in physical sports like basketball or soccer or track, the boy's always going to have the advantage. I'm sorry. Like, there's not a chick who runs faster than Usain Bolt.
Okay. Were you gonna say something? Oh, go ahead, man.
No, you're good.
Do you want
No,
me to play that one, Marcus?
What I was gonna say about the whole thing is, all right. So, what happens when we start having trans women, or what is it? I guess getting all confusing. But you have people who were born genetically a woman who transition to men and start going into boxing and things like that. Though the boobs will start to shrink, you're still going to have the nipples the same as a woman. They're not going to really shrink very much. And so you're going to have guys, you get what I'm saying? Or maybe they're going to start boxing with tops on. I don't know. But the first time you have that situation and somebody gets into the hospital, I want that to be on record that plenty of people were warning about these types of things, and that sometimes you can give people, like, I remember Jackie Chan said this comment, and I thought that's kind of insane. He said the problem with Americans is Americans have too much freedom. And sometimes when you have too much freedom, you run yourself into bad situations because you don't have any checks or boundaries to tell you, okay, that you're going too far. That's where I feel we are as a nation. The people who are running things, and if you look at it, if there's a group which has like less than 5%, if they're less than 5% of the population, it seems like that's the group that Congress listens to. Forget all the masses of people who are saying, hey, what about the stimulus check? Forget about the masses of people saying, hey, can we start bringing some troops home? It's always, well, what do the businesses want? What do Asian girls who like to blow flutes and ride bicycles? What's their constituent? What's their interest? And it seems like that's what Congress does. It's only a small. Now, granted, I'm being facetious, but there's only a small group of people which they actually even want to address any of their issues.
Look, somebody said to me yesterday, like, they said, "Oh, you may be talking to a transphobic black man, right?" And I left that alone, whatever. So they said to me, if you don't believe that there's more than two genders, then we have a problem. I mean, when you're born, what do they say? Do they say you got a boy, or we don't know? Like, it's either a boy or a girl. Like, when was there more? When was there more?
There's never been more. Science does not back up anything they're saying. This is politics and trying to recreate science based on your feelings. What Kelly said, did not know about the nipple size. Well, I work at an adult. Yeah, it is different. I mean, even women. I mean, you can just look. Of course, we all know anatomy.
Oh yeah, there's many.
Before,
there's many different.
They're different.
There's
and
many different.
And I've seen a trans person who's taken the hormone pills and to transition masculine, and it didn't really get rid of. It didn't make the nipple all of a sudden look more masculine or look like a man's. It still looked like a woman's nipple on a flat-chested man. So it just looked weird. I'm sorry. I guess I'll piss some people off. I don't really care.
I like that.
Put in the chat up there at the top.
I like that parable signs.
Let's see. I'll go ahead and read it out. It says, "I've heard a similar parable about a kite being held down by a string. But if you become unattached, you'll eventually crash hard." Whoo, I like that. That's nice, sons. That is nice. In fact, I'll make sure to come back and screenshot that later. I decided I put it in the chat if you all didn't notice. And I see you guys have hung around. So I sent Chris over a clip from my new channel, Hebrew Apologetics. And I figured, we'll run a couple minutes, 5 minutes or so, if you guys like. It's a 16-minute video. I advise you to come over to the channel, subscribe, and check out more of it. I have 3 videos that I'm working on that it's a lot of information, and it's compacted into a very, very tight bit of. I have 3 videos that are coming that are gonna show. Let's just say it's going to make you reshape some of your thinking. And this isn't going to be even biblical stuff. This is going to be migration patterns, language patterns, and things like that, to understanding some ancient history. Kelly, what Hebrew Apologetics is about.
Marcus, do you want me to play the video?
In a second, but I'll answer a question real quick. Yeah, get the video prepped up to play. What it is my faith, well, it's more than faith. It's a culture, religion. It's a mix of a bunch of things. But a lot of Black people, for lack of better words, their history starts with slavery. And as I started to do research and to figure out who were we before that, where our origins really. Who are we really? Because Black is just a color. And if you guys can see my skin, I'm apparently not Black. I'm obviously brown. And why did Black people get called Black? What are some of the etymology of some of these words? Like I was explaining to a friend, I was like, please don't call me Hispanic or Latino ever again. Because Hispanic means property of Spain. Latino means property of Latin. So that goes back to the Romans. It's saying you're just property. When you go into words like Jamaica, that means like water and wood. When you go into the name of what Puerto Rico means rich port. The conquistadors renamed everything as opposed to what it was to them. You're just a Black, so that's your name. You're the place where we go and get gold and resources, so that's what we name you. You're the place where we go and get wood, so that's what we name you. And like even countries like Nigeria, and you start going back into this deep, deep history. And I'm going to lay out a whole pattern of things because in order for people to truly understand what's going on in the political landscape, if they really, really don't want to understand, they need to understand a little bit about Bible, just the history. I'm not trying to convince you all to jump into the faith. I'm saying history, because the Bible is probably the best historical book to be able to trace actual empires and kingdoms and dynasties. And that's how I've been able to track some of this information and migration patterns through the secular world, because I come with an immense historical, background. And until I decided to kind of tear down that partition between religion and faith, and between secular history and all that stuff, once I did that and pulled the politics aside and started looking at things, I started seeing things hand in hand. Like, when most of us know about Hannibal and his father Aegeus, how he fought against the Roman Empire, and that was the decline of the decline of the Roman Empire. Biblically, I can show you Aegeus in the Bible. I can show you Hannibal. I can show you when it talks about the different African nations teaming up with the Spaniards to gather slaves. I can go into so many things. And so I've laid out a couple of videos, and I had to restart this new channel because I didn't have the password, but I'm trying to lay out all this stuff, and it's going to be video after video after video. So I know some people are not going to, they're like, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. But after I put out a good amount of these videos, I would love to see you guys start saying, nah, I don't buy it. Because it's not one or two pictures. I'm going to bring you guys thousands of archaeological pictures. I'm going to bring you, I'm working on setting up an interview with a professor from Indiana State, talking about modern contemporary jewelry and their origins, and we're going to DNA and a whole bunch of stuff. But without further ado, I know that was a long setup, had a lot on my mind, but go ahead, Chris, can you pull that up? Ooh,
Hebrew Apologetics, and I'm your host, Marcus Cage. I know I talked about we need to be able to learn, relearn, unlearn things. And one thing that we need to relearn definitely is some of our thoughts and theories on ancient history. In
Hey, Chris, can
particular,
you skip ahead,
Europe, and later on.
Say that again.
Yeah, go ahead and skip ahead a couple of minutes. They don't need to hear my little boring intro. They'll see it on the video.
Okay.
But yeah,
How far you want me to go in?
Skip forward about right after you see me finish. There you go. Go back. Yeah, right about there. That's a good point to start at. Oh yeah, as you see the title, it's called Adam, and we're talking about the original Adam.
But his
Shadow Man and Black
chromosome tells a different story. It shows that what we look like may not really tell us where we come from. And it raises a question mark over the traditional image of Adam. For centuries, artists have depicted him like this, like a European. For many of us, this is Adam, Michelangelo's famous painting in the Vatican's Sistine Chapel. He looks like a beautiful Italian who spends a lot of time in the gym. Did the common ancestor of all men really look like this? The story of Jefferson suggests he could have looked very different. Finally, Wells comes face to face with the man he's been searching for. A new portrait of the common ancestor of every man today. Adam. Without a skull, we can't know for sure what Adam looked like. But a combination of genetic evidence, vendors' forensic skills, and cutting-edge computer software suggest he looked something like this. Thousands of years after the Bible, and hundreds of years after Michelangelo, we have a whole new face for Adam.
I like the expression. He's got a very forceful look.
And go ahead and skip a little bit further to the Cheddar Man one. Here we go.
Just tell me when to stop.
He's intent on something.
Let's see. Go about, yeah, right there. Yeah, go back to right before it says confounded.
Right before what?
If you see that part where it comes up confounded, right before that.
By having a combination of African and European genes, which led to dark skin and light eyes. Quoted by CNN, the study's lead researcher said the biggest surprise was to discover that this individual possessed African versions in the genes that determine the light pigmentation of the current Europeans, which indicates that he had dark skin, although we cannot know the exact shade. According to The Guardian, another surprise was that the ancient man was already carrying mutations in his immune system that weren't thought to have evolved until humans started living together in farming communities. Those mutations were confounded by the fact that he was believed to be lactose intolerant and likely had trouble digesting starchy foods, common characteristics of hunter-gatherers from the period. Sky News notes the bones, dubbed Labrana 1 by scientists, were found along with another skeleton in a Spanish cave back in 2006. Information about the man's appearance was discovered by analyzing DNA extracted from the root of the man's third molar. Labrana 1 and the other skeleton were both believed to belong to men in their early 30s and were kept in good condition by the cool climate of the cave. According to NBC, scientists are now hoping to retrieve DNA to study the genome of the second skeleton.
10,000 years ago, not what we would have expected.
1, 2, 3, come on!
Marcus, is there anything else in the video you wanted me to play, or?
No, that's good there. I think they get the gist of it. Yeah, but I guess I'll go into detail a little bit more. The rest of it goes more into that. It goes into and I'll put Thomas' comment up because it ties into what I was talking about. It says we all come from pre-sub-Saharan Africans over 70,000 years ago who migrated out of Africa or stayed in Africa. I think that the video was getting at that some whites disbelieve this. That is true. This is what I will say because I believe that the powers that be want to keep everybody mixed up and confused. So the 7 part is right. I don't believe it's 70,000. I believe, just like it said, they found Cheddar Man about 7,000 years ago. And that would be when I believe that dates to. Whenever they start throwing out these 100,000, 300,000, a million, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You're going to tell me that skeletal remains lasted for 1 million years. That doesn't even compute. That doesn't make sense. And we've trained ourselves to listen to these people's crap that they spew out. Now, if you go, honestly, anytime I start looking at their zeros, I just drop a 0 off, and then it automatically, for some weird reason, all lines up with what the Bible's talking about. So, people can do what they want with that. What I was going to say about Thomas has said something before. In that. I think it's in that video. No, it's in the video before that. The video that I did before that, it goes into migration patterns of Indo-Europeans. And this next video is going to have some more about Indo-Europeans. For those not familiar with Indo-Europeans, please check out my video that I'll be dropping sometime tomorrow, the first one. I'm doing, maybe 3 or 4 parts. It's just so much stuff, and I'm trying to keep the videos to a max of about 15, 20 minutes. I don't want each one to be 30, 45 minutes because a lot of the people who put out this quality information, that's why it's so hard, I feel like, for people to really digest it because it'll come in a live stream that's 3 hours long. And so if you're not watching the live stream the whole way through, you're not going to hear any of this information. And me, I've listened to enough of these lectures from scientists and archaeologists and a bunch of different people from academia, and I've been able to clip this, get information there, clip that, and the only problem I have for the most part is it's so much information I have that it's hard to figure where am I even going to start, and how much I have to put out. Let's see, because when you start going into the Indo-European, the Bible, how it basically says is that actually we won't even go Bible for a second. We'll just go into what migration patterns show. There's two theories about the people in the Caucasus Mountains. One is that some people just believe they were just already in the Caucasus Mountains, and then they came down to Africa, which DNA and archaeology proves that wrong. The only other theory is that they went through the area called Anatolia and going through Turkey, going up into the Caucasus Mountains. There you find that the people who dwell in the Caucasus Mountains lived there for about 2,000 years. Before that, they started migrating in through Europe. And it started out first through Poland, Russia, Germany, all those areas like that. And it was going through mostly the hunter-gatherer territories, knocking most of those people off. And people say, oh, well, they had horses, so that was their advantage. And they try to make it as if, oh, these are the only people who had horses. At the time when they're talking about them going, the Indo-Europeans starting to go into Europe out of the Caucasus Mountains, there were literally already pyramids in Egypt. So you can't say that, oh, well, they came up with the horsebacking and all that. That's not true. They gathered that knowledge because they lived near that Levant region, which would be Turkey, which if you see modern day Turks and Hungarians and all of those people all have genetic markers which line up the same way. And then when you get into the Indo-European language families, 46% of the entire world speaks an Indo-European language. So it has to do partially with the colonization and how Europeans have spread from here to there. But yeah, that's the stuff that it'll go into on that information. Oh yeah, and Kelly, thank you for that. Who's in the chat who has not hit the like button yet? If you hadn't hit the like button, I'm telling you, I'm about to go to one of them little dolls. I'm gonna call up one of them little crazy dolls from you remember what was that movie they had back in the day, Puppet Masters? I'm gonna send the Puppet Masters after you. For those who don't know, look up Puppet Masters. It's an old goofy movie from I think the 80s or early 90s, where little tiny toys were killing people. So it's kind of silly, but find it kind of interesting. Let's see. Europeans come from the brown Middle Eastern people. They just moved into the Caucasus Mountain and began to mutate. Well, it's a mixture of the two. Biblical speaking, I have theories which match into that. But yeah, if you look at most modern Europeans, and I would say people in Turkey and people in India and Iran, and a lot of the modern day Arabs all share a lot of the same DNA markers and the language markers. So it shows that most of these people. Now, in the case of the Arabs, more the Arabs and more Asian side of the Caucasian side, many of them mixed with the native people of Babylon and Persia and all those areas. And that's when you started to get the mixed phenotype look, that more tan, or what white people consider olive, which if you actually look at a real olive looks like the three of us on this panel, or darker or green. So I don't get where they come up with olives, how people have gotten olive skin tone is a tan white person. That's never made any sense to me. But yeah, I guess what Kelly knows about the Puppet Masters, I see. Oh yeah. But I guess I've kept you guys on long enough. I know it's getting late on the East Coast, definitely, and I know I am punishing my co-hosts, keeping them on a little bit longer, and I commend them. I commend their spirits for sticking with me, riding it on out. Oh, I'm gonna read this one last comment, and then we'll go ahead and close it out. Thomas says Europeans come from brown Middle Eastern people. They just moved into the Caucasus Mountains and began to mutate 10,000 years ago. Cheddar Man was ancestral European. That's what I take from the video. Yes, he is. And then when I get into these other videos, I'm going to start going into people that most people have never heard of. But we're going to talk about the Etruscans. We're going to talk about the Mycenaeans. We're going to talk about the Minoans. We're going to talk about the original Celts. We're going to talk about the original Kiev Rus. So what I've learned from history is those people who came out of the Caucasus Mountains, for the most part, their major ability, well, and a lot of people put it as, oh, well, they had horses or they had this. Part of it is the horses, but another thing is if you're going into a hunter-gatherer community that is not expecting a horde of people on horses and chariots and swords coming in, it's kind of easy to win that war. And that's literally what they did. As they got to numbers in the hundreds of thousands, they descended on small hunter-gatherer communities in Eastern Europe and started to either exterminate the whole people or subjugate until eventually, and please go into the video before that. It goes into a lot of that, and you guys will see it. And just keep an eye out for my next, my ones that I'm releasing tomorrow. And if you all follow DJ L7, keep an eye out. Me and him were working on trying to set up an interview. So I do plan on, sitting down with him and talking about a couple of things. So keep an eye out for that. This has been the Political Matrix. I am so glad that you guys stuck with us out throughout this whole show. I see Chris is putting the link in, the link to the video in there. Make sure you all subscribe, tap the bell. I need to get those numbers up there, and I need to get more attention to the page, and that's my goal. I'm going to be putting a ton of content. You guys will see a lot of the research that I've really been doing over, say, the past 8-9 months. So you guys will see where I've been working on. Those who follow me on what I've been thinking, you'll see where I was having those giant, gaps where I drop out and I'm not doing any content and stuff like that. It's because I was finding so much stuff that I was like, I can't even talk about all these other things because I feel like my whole foundation of things which I believe that were 100% is just shattered. My understanding of the world. So I was like, I gotta get back, and I need to learn more before I do talking. So that's what I've done, and you guys are gonna see that research process and all the stuff that's come out. I'm still working on a video that I just watched not that long ago about Illuminati. And this one will break it down very clearly. And so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to break that into portions. I'm not even going to talk on this, just going to break it into portions. I think it's like what is it, Chris, was that 2.5 hour video, something like that I sent you?
Just about.
And so I'm going to break it in probably like 30-minute parts for everybody. And I figure if it's up on YouTube, and they haven't taken it down yet, I'm just going to show you guys. And some of the stuff I already know some people are not going to agree with and maybe get a little, sensitive to certain things and certain phraseology, which he says. But pay attention to the receipts which he puts down, because this man is going to lay down receipt after receipt after receipt. He's going to name names, and he's going to give you sources where you can go to and verify, confirm, or deny what he is saying. And then I want to see you all who don't believe that there's an Illuminati who's actually controlling things, who have their hands in every pie. I want to see you still come out and tell me that you don't believe it after you see that. So next week, there is confirmation, war with Iran, and more debating on the stimulus. Oh, you know what? Chris, go ahead and just say that. Definitely make the topic next week. Keep an eye out for it, Kelly.
Yeah, near
definitely. Well, guys, thank you.
Definitely.
No, I'm just going to say, as usual, to the faithful who come and check us out, listen to us talk our shit every week, thank you. We appreciate it very much. So I just want to, convey that feeling and sentiment to you guys. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for keeping it interesting.
Variant, thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Zines. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you all. And I'm going to get my butt off of here. I'm going to start finishing up these clips. And because all it is I just need to interject and talk some shit in there and then give a little intro. But yeah, after that, I will be putting these up as fast as possible. And I also have linked in the playlist section the videos from the original channel, which I started, so you guys can see that little process.
You know what? I wanted to ask Kelly my last thing. Kelly mentioned, I think either last week or the week before, that she has a radio station where she lives. I was going to ask her if she could put that information in the chat so we could check that out too.
Well, and also that way we can. I know we're small, but I'll definitely, help promote and put that out there. Just like honestly, I need to be doing more for Thomas's channel because Thomas does have a pretty bomb ass channel. He has a lot of good information in there. So, and I actually use some of his information, even though we have many differences in some of our beliefs. But yeah, check it out. Check the channel out.
I love it. What is he saying?
I mean, when I get on Rockfin, just hey, don't bring your kids in. Just don't bring your kids. You know, remember what was his name? Hide your wife, hide your kids. They raping everybody over here.
All right, guys. Thanks, sir. We out of here, fellas. Thank you.
All right, you guys have a good one and have a good weekend and catch you all later. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Peace.